I want to go to Haunted Phosphorescence. Guys, it's your boy Thoreau Smiley here. Today I'm going to be taking the podcast host challenge. Make sure to smash that like button. Who's joining me?
Hey everybody, it's Cece, and I got us tickets to the Oh shit, these are for the Renaissance Fair.
I'm Ryan Lesh. What are you? A paranormal investigator?
I'm a marshmallow melting. I'm Alaric Weber.
He's all soft and gooey.
That makes sense too.
Aloe.
And this is Haunted Phosphorescence. Yeah, you're spooky. one podcast.
Well, I know. We think that's the Dracula voice, but it's really the Count.
Yeah, that's not Bela Lugosi at all.
No, I don't remember him exactly doing that. Oh.
It's 100% the Muppet, yes.
I love that.
This is Haunted Phosphorescence, your spooky movie podcast, where for the month of October, we pick spooky movies and then talk about them. It's brought to you, this show that is, by our patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Just do it, guys. Why are you still waffling over this? It's so easy. Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. $1 a month.
I love that you're specifically talking to people who thought about it.
Yeah, like guys, I know you want to.
Talking to you.
Like it's cool, man. All right, no pressure. We'll just take our shirts off and sit together for a while. All right, it's all good, girl.
All right. We'll hang out in robes and see what develops.
Oh, my shirt's starting to chafe me.
No, my pants are chafing.
Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment for more of this gold that we surround you.
This witty banter, this Algonquin round table that we are.
Yeah.
We'll have chafing solutions after the break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chafing solution.
And much like F. Scott Fitzgerald, we will be comparing our penis sizes with Ernest Hemingway's.
Yep. I want to be the Dorothy Parker.
But this week on our final Haunted Phosphorescence of the year, we are watching We're All Going to the World's Fair.
Hey guys, Casey here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking the World's Fair Challenge.
So, you want to join the internet's scariest online horror game? We can't be held responsible for what you become. All you have to do to get started is take the challenge.
I don't know what to expect. I want to go to the World's Fair. I want to go to the World's Fair. I want to go to the World's Fair.
This is for serious players only. I hope that you're ready to get scared together.
It was like watching myself on a TV all the way across the room.
They're getting closer.
I think I'm turning into something terrible.
I'm inside the video, through the computer.
It's gotten worse.
I need to figure out what's going on.
I can feel the forces of the fair pulling you in closer.
I see you there, even if you won't show your face. I swear, someday soon, I am just gonna disappear. And you won't have any idea what happened to me.
We're all going to the World's Fair, and we're going to see some newfangled inventions.
The Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, we're all going to the World's Fair. It was released, wide release, April 15th, 2022. It was Sundance in 21. It took a long time to get a wide release, but it has a running time of 86 minutes. It cost around $250,000, and it made $106,000 at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
A little, very, very small, very indie. It was not financially successful, but it was definitely a calling card movie for the filmmaker, which we'll talk about in a bit. This was nominally my choice this month, but I gave it over to Jude, and this is the most Gen Z movie we have ever covered by a long shot.
This is the most Gen Z thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was a cool choice, and I'm glad that it was Gen Z. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm glad. It was refreshing.
It was fascinating. Katie said to me, she said, "You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Cloverfield." I went, that's weird, because it reminds me of Blair Witch, obviously. Like, but the found footage thing, generationally, she's got a different touchstone than I do. I don't know if you guys would consider Blair Witch probably to be the found footage.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
That was the original found footage thing that I knew of.
Yeah.
Well, except for maybe Zelig.
Oh, yeah. But that wasn't a movie.
That was more
right?
documentary style anyways, yeah.
They're in theaters, yeah.
But no, it was very interesting. It was interesting that it wasn't a fully found footage. Like it was because there was a lot of just regular film third person.
I don't feel like there was much film footage. It wasn't shot that way.
There's like 3 shots that were distinctly not found footage that I remember being like, oh, this is a weird tonal shift.
I don't know. Having seen all those VHS movies, I don't know. I didn't get found footage vibes. I know what you mean, but I didn't.
I got 50% found footage vibes and then 50% normal film. You know.
Okay.
I'm on a diet. So it's all stevia.
I measured in milliliters my interest.
Yeah, like I said, we'll definitely get into the background, but first, like I said, it was released April 15th, 2022. Didn't make a ton of money, so we're going to play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week of April 15th, 2022. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movies I'm describing. It's always weird to do years that are recent. Like,
I end up knowing less of them.
Yeah. Although this week there's a fair amount of movies on here that we definitely have seen. So we're all going to the World's Fair, opened at number 25, never cracked the top 10.
How many theaters did it run in? Any idea? I don't know if that's.
Let me see.
Just the one that whatever town this takes place in.
Yeah.
And it's closed.
Let me see. Because I have to. Its first week it opened in like 12 theaters, and then it promptly fell out of the top 50, and I'm entirely uncertain if it ever went any wider. So it never got into many theaters at all. I don't know if it opened outside of like the coasts.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's weird. I'm sure if somebody sent this to me, I'd be like, could I make money from this?
Yeah. Some of the films that were not in the top 10, but opened higher than, or were playing higher than We're All Going to the World's Fair. The 2022 re-release of David Lynch's Inland Empire.
Whoa.
Yeah, my least favorite
that
David
got
Lynch
a re-release.
Film.
Yeah, re-release. That's odd.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you guys know that film well, but it is the hardest Lynch film for me to watch by far. That includes Eraserhead.
A good barometer is do you like what was it called? The one where the dude rides his lawnmower?
Oh, The Straight Story?
Yeah.
Straight Story is fun. I mean, as much as
I'm always interested to know where people land on that one.
I like that one. It's
yeah, I thought it was endearing.
Yeah, it's crazy how Lynchian it is, considering that it's so wholesome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think that encapsulates David Lynch. That phrase, just that sentence. It's crazy how wholesome, even though it's David Lynch.
So yeah, no,
he's so wholesome, but he's
so wholesome, but so
he is
so weird and so mean when he wants to be, and like what? Not for no reason. Always mean for what did you fucking say to me about my movie?
No, when he gets mad, it feels bad.
I watched the clip of like, could we make this shorter? And he was like, what the fuck did you just, what? Get the fuck out of my face. Yeah. He's like, I fucking hate this shit. It's like, he was so happy the moment before that too. He was like, what do you think? It's so great, right? I love David Lynch.
Yeah, no. Oh God. Yeah, no. Jude and I are going through all of Lynch's stuff right now. So it's been a really fun, it's been an interesting journey because I haven't watched a lot of Lynch since I was like younger, when I was like discovering and like exploring Lynch on my own, and revisiting now. It's like, he really was making, all of these movies are like 30 to 50% comedies. And he did not, that's not advertised.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah. He's a real weird fucking dude. Yeah. It's weird how much David Lynch and David Byrne seem like the kind of like
are they the same person?
A single David split and one became a filmmaker and the other became a musician.
Yeah. I have made that connection in my head multiple times throughout my life.
There's a lot of overlap between Talking Heads fans and David Lynch fans anyways. Let's see, at number 12, No Way Home was still hanging in there. And at number 10 at the box office for April 15th, 2022. I almost said 1922. 2022. It's an entirely different top 10.
30 seconds of a train was in the top 10.
Everyone ducks.
Sorry.
It's like it was in the theater with us. Did you hear that organ?
That train organ.
That train organ keeps coming down the tracks. At number 10 this week, a street smart treasure hunter is recruited to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan.
Oh, is this Spider-Man?
Yeah,
in that one movie.
Yeah, Spider-Man. No Indiana Jones home.
Yeah, defying physics with Mark Wahlberg, right?
Yeah, it's Uncharted.
Uncharted. Thank you.
It's crazy that
he runs on falling containers at one point in the movie. No. That's the clip I've seen.
The film has the same physics as the video game, which for a 2000s like adventure platformer is like, guys.
Yeah, when Spider-Man is your most realistic film.
Yeah, but also
there's a problem.
Also, they cast Mark Wahlberg as Sully, a character that was like clearly based on like Sam Shepard or something. Like,
he's supposed to be older. He's supposed to be like silver hair.
He's like
right?
He's supposed to be like 65 or so. Yeah. At number 9 this week at the box office, opening at number 9 in the blood-soaked Kolar goldfields, Rocky's name strikes fear into his foes, while the government sees him as a threat to law and order. Rocky must battle threats from all sides for unchallenged supremacy. I didn't change a word of that.
Including Ferdinand Magellan.
This was the sequel to Rocky and Bullwinkle?
That's Simon's personal.
This actually is a sequel to a film. It's we did not see this. This is not an American film. It's
Is this a Hindi film? Is this a Bollywood film?
Yes, it is.
Is this RRR?
It is not
Monkey
RRR.
Man?
It is not RRR. It's not Monkey Man. But it does have a 3-letter title. It's called KGF 2.
I believe you.
Yeah, sure. At number 8 this week, when a sadistic serial killer begins murdering key political figures, a
non-sadistic.
A young orphan is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. The Batman. Yes.
The
Batman.
Is he a serial killer if he's killing political people?
The Riddler?
Or would that make him a terrorist?
A little of both.
Column A, column B thing. Yeah.
It'll make him boring.
It's a little bit of both, right? Jeez.
Yeah.
You shoot a singer or something?
Yeah. There's far too little green spandex in the Batman. He owns very few things that are like a one piece covered in question marks.
Well, and they got rid of the cane for that carpet scraper thing. I mean, come on, uninspired.
Right?
You think that guy's the Riddler? I don't know. He's got question marks. He's the puzzler.
Let's ask him.
He's the questioner. It doesn't say riddle all over his clothes. It's question marks.
Just in general. Why? That's philosophy, man.
At number 7 this week, 2 robbers steal an ambulance after their heist goes awry.
Ambulance.
Yes.
Ambulant.
Michael Bay's Ambulance. Indeed.
Was this his? I feel like this was his Heat thing.
I feel like it was his Madam Web.
Or his Madam Web. But it's all like this vibe. It looks like Heat does, you know? Like
I didn't see Ambulance.
I watched a little bit of it at one point and I was like, this is not fun, but it reminds me of like it's trying to look cool the whole time. Like nothing matters. All it matters is that it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's Michael Bay.
That's Michael Bay.
But it's Michael Bay trying to be Michael Mann, who like everything Michael Mann did looked fucking cool, man. It looked like I want to do these crimes, man.
That's true. There is some Michael Mann
Ambulance
influence.
is just like it just felt like Shia LaBeouf. like oh, he looks cool, man. It's like, does he look cool though? It's not Shia LaBeouf. It's what's his name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it's Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko.
No, it's the dude from Roadhouse.
Yeah, you know that boxer guy from Southpaw. Fucking weird. It's the Bubble Boy. Let's be real. It's Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy, yeah. At number 6 this week, a biochemist tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease.
Madam Web.
Morbius. The Morbs.
You're right. I guess he wasn't a biochemist in Madam Web. He's just a man obsessed with the future.
I've got the Morbs. Yeah. I watched another Dakota Johnson movie recently, just randomly, and she really is the acting equivalent of plain shredded wheat with almond milk.
She's the equivalent of her mom. Yeah. Also a terrible actress.
But her mom, like, is in some ways like over emotes at times. Dakota Johnson literally, I feel like she's hearing words for the first time.
Yeah,
not the words she's speaking.
Emotion.
Words.
I just think of her holding that Pepsi can in that movie, just like, would you fucking open that fucking can already? Fuck.
It's weird because her dad is so goofy.
Yeah.
You know, Don Johnson is a goofball.
Yeah,
she was pretty funny on SNL. I will say she's had her moments where I'm like, oh, it's pretty funny. All right, but it's hard not to be funny on SNL. I guess they write everything for you to say.
Right. Yeah. They have some pretty good writers.
And they know how to write for a celebrity's personality.
Exactly.
Yes,
they're
Donald
targeting.
Trump hosted.
Yeah.
And
Elon Musk.
No, but that's part of why they've worked all these years. You know, if they were only fan serving, they wouldn't have lasted 50 years. They give a fair shake.
I got to show Jude Blues Brothers for the first time the other day.
The movie or
the movie? The movie. Oh, yeah. And then he asked,
awesome.
So what were their sketches like? It's like they weren't.
They weren't. They were musical numbers.
Yeah.
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 Elwood didn't talk, and they didn't do sketches.
It was still weird. I've gone back and watched some of them in my 20s when I first watched Blues Brothers because I didn't see it as a teenager, and I was so confused that they were just musical numbers. It's so weird to me from like my generation of SNL watching it, being like, this was a bit? What the fuck? It's cool.
It's weird that that got popular enough to make the first SNL movie.
It is very weird.
But
it's cool. We should do those at some point.
Movie.
Yeah.
Musical.
Fucking Blues that movie's phenomenal.
Nice. Perfect movie.
John
Belushi was a huge indie punk, like real thrash hardcore punk fan.
Fuck yeah.
Dan Aykroyd got him interested in blues music, and they were just like, wouldn't it be fun to do a few of these numbers? And then it just went from there.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was just two best friends please check this out. It's way cooler than you think it is. Then he became obsessed.
The best part was that Jude was like, wow, who's John Belushi's stunt guy doing all those flips? I was like, that's John Belushi.
That is that dude.
Yeah.
Yep. All the way down the church aisle.
Yep. That's just John Belushi. At number 5 this week at the box office for April 15th, 2022. This film follows the life of a priest, a boxer turned priest who inspired countless people during his journey from self-destruction to redemption. This stars. This is the second movie in the top 10 for this actor. We already talked about the other one. It stars famed hate crime perpetrator Mark Wahlberg.
Mel Gibson.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And he was a priest.
What is this called? It's a comedy,
He
right?
plays for the Philadelphia Eagles for one game.
It looks like a comedy based on the poster.
Father Stew.
Father Stew.
Father
It
Stew.
was the most Boston fucking thing ever. He was a boxer, and now he's a priest. Watch him eat a potato and drink a beer. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hey, say hi to your mom for me.
Hey, I'm wicked racist.
Yeah. Jeez.
No offense, but I hope you get Lou Gehrig's disease.
At number 4 this week at the box office, a reclusive romance novelist on a book tour with her cover model gets swept up in a kidnapping attempt that lands them both in a cutthroat jungle adventure.
The Lost City of Z? The City of Z?
No, just The Lost City.
The Lost City. That's right. The City of Z is a different one.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I've brought this up before. I fucking love this movie so much. It's like Romancing the Stone.
It looks
vibes.
fun. I haven't actually watched it.
It's one of my favorite Channing Tatum things I've ever seen.
Is this one?
He's playing an outsized version of Channing Tatum, which is hilarious.
Is this by the dude that did fucking Fall Guy and Bullet Train? It gives me those vibes.
It feels like one of those movies. It hits all of those like comedic beats and has like the wholesome creamy nougaty center or whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock is so fucking funny, and I've always been into her since I was like a 10-year-old boy. And to see her disheveled in a spangly fucking jumpsuit, life made.
At number 3 this week at the box office, a middle-aged Chinese.
I wasn't telling you to hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
My wife, I was trying to mute it.
I thought you were going to inquire about the spangly Sandra Bullock.
No, sometimes I forget to mute and I'm talking to my dog. All right, anyway.
At number 3 this week, A middle-aged Chinese immigrant is swept up into an insane adventure in which she alone can save existence.
Everything everywhere.
Everything
all at once.
everywhere all at
This
once.
has got to be a month or two into its showing.
It's been out 4 weeks.
Yeah, this thing had legs.
Oh,
man.
it lasted a solid year.
I think it's a really good movie.
It's
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's so
Built
fun
its
to
universe
watch.
immediately, and we were just in it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So
Funny
good.
action made me cry. Like it hit every
And
single
non-superhero
good movie.
multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
More of a scientific pointed instead of like I have a magic amulet and I can go to where I'm paying.
I have a magic
They beat
amulet.
every multiverse to the punch.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
On a fraction of the budget, and god damn it, everything on a fucking bagel, man. Oh,
Yep, and
love
everything.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily scientific, but that's the, you know what I mean? Like that's the angle they went to. Like
It
this
has
is how we
philosophical
learned how to
depth.
manipulate time and space instead
Yeah.
of magic. It was just satisfying that way.
well, and it follows its own rules, and the consequences of following its own rules are fucking hot dog fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Jamie
I want to do
Lee
that movie
Curtis.
so bad, but that's like
Yeah,
a
we will, I
four-parter
think.
because it's so dense with stuff happening.
It really is.
We've done
Yeah.
some dense movies.
We really have.
We really
It's
have.
gonna be like that's gonna be like The Shining.
And I didn't think. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For example. Like, we
Or
crushed that.
Madam
but-
Web.
Boy.
Or Madam Web. Is that okay? I gotta ask.
Long.
Is that our longest episode ever?
I think our longest was
I don't-
Endgame.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That movie's fucking long.
Yeah.
Madam Web was longer.
Madam Web was almost as long as Endgame, though. Yeah.
It was the end game for the Spider-Verse.
Fucking Madam Web. At number 2 this week, when a manic villain returns to Earth with a new ally, a hero and his new friend are all that stands in his way.
A manic villain?
Yeah.
Is this animated?
No. I mean, partially.
Okay.
Everything's, all action movies are animated to some degree.
No,
these
but
days,
okay, it's
yeah.
not like a Despicable Me
Yeah,
kind of thing.
no,
I've never seen those, but he's a lovable villain, right?
Yeah, it has America's sweetheart James Marsden starring in it. Well, starring in it.
the Elfin Prince.
Yes.
Wait,
Oh,
is
wait,
this Sonic the Hedgehog?
2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Still Sonicking.
I have not seen any of these, and everybody tells me they are amazing. And I grew up playing every single Sonic game,
Yeah,
like
I've
the
heard
day
they're
of
good.
its release. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for all of this. I didn't watch the cartoons
manic
or anything.
villain-
Is
The manic
Jim
villain
Carrey.
is Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Robot. He
Perfect.
plays Dr. Robotnik, yes.
Which is amazing, and I
Yeah, I
love
heard
him
he does
for
a
it.
good job.
Be
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Well, and this is the only thing he keeps coming back for. Like, he's semi-retired, but he'll come out for Sonic.
I love that he's like, I don't do sequels, but Sonic, I love playing robot. Put me in that fucking egg suit, baby.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, well, no,
He
and-
gave a. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, Knuckles the Echidna is played by freaking
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, who's like, I love this. This is my favorite role I've ever done.
I have to watch those movies. I love Idris Elba so much as an actor.
I
The
mean,
fact that he loves that role is weird.
I mean, it seems to me like they're a solid 7.5 out of 10 movies.
I mean, I watched the Mario movie and I played those games much less. It's fascinating that I've avoided these.
Oh, I played
think it's
Mario
'cause I have
so much more than Sonic.
Yeah. I have so much skin in the Sonic game. That's probably why I'm avoiding it.
I played very little Sonic. I played a lot of Mario.
I occasionally go back and beat all of those games and tell no one about it. Letting the world know now that I have a problem.
Oh yeah, no. So I will occasionally go and play the first couple Marios, and I love them. But yeah, Sonic, I've never played more than the first Sonic, and only like half of it.
The first Sonic is the worst. They get much better as you go on, and I haven't played anything past Sonic and Knuckles, so the rest of it's dead to me.
Also, I'm a little disturbed by how dense apparently the Sonic lore is for some reason.
They started with so not to get too deep into Sonic. We'll have a Sonic episode at some point, I'm sure. But Knuckles, when they introduced this character, it was like super complex for a video game platforming character because he was a good guy or he was a villain. And then when you stuck the cartridges together, he became a good guy. And you could play through his game and the other game together as a good guy. But because of that, it was one of the like most successful Sega Genesis cartridges. So the Sonic people went full bore on making a dozen more characters that all had really rich, complex backgrounds. And that was the moment when I saw the next game come out for whatever Dreamcast or something. I was like, oh, there's too many characters. I can't follow this. You're going to a place I can't go, Sonic.
Yeah, apparently the Sonic fan community is absolutely insane. Which,
yeah,
I can't.
Every time I glimpse at it, I'm like, oh, am I associated with these people at all? It's like, no, I just like the games. I don't know. It's crazy. Ugly Sonic, when that shit happened, people lost their minds. Yeah. I didn't know people cared. I thought I was the only person that cared about Sonic the Hedgehog at all.
No, apparently people go insane for it, and I don't understand. I'm 5 years too old to even try to understand.
Well, and I'm the perfect age for it because they all came out. Like the third one came out, and I was in like 5th grade. I don't understand.
Yeah,
because before that it was just a video game, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's more convoluted than like Zelda.
Like the characters have relationships with each other that change throughout games. Like they're fucking each other. They're all fucking each other in the Sonic universe. It's twisted. I don't know. It's so weird.
Video game continuity from 90s video games is hilarious because they were not meant to have continuity in the 90s. They weren't stories. They were like, hey, it's an Italian plumber and he fights a lizard. And occasionally plays go-karts with him.
I mean, I will say Legend of Zelda, story through and through.
Oh, yeah, sure. Legend
but those
of Zelda.
platformer games, maybe Metroid had a plot.
Well, Castlevania. But, all right. So, anyways, number 1 at the box office for the week of April 15th, 2022. I don't want to say any of these words. A teacher knows that a bad guy is trying to take control of stuff. So he gets a botanist to help lead a team on a dangerous mission. I hate that. I am so over this world, which I just described extremely vaguely.
A botanist?
So this is hold on, let me think. The 11th film set in this universe.
Is this a Fast and the Furious movie?
No, it is not. I don't think there's any botanists.
Is this a Fantastic Beasts?
The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh, this is when they recast him as
for the 3rd time. They recast him 3 times because each time there, because the first time
he died.
Yeah, the first time he died and became someone else, and the second time Johnny Depp got Amber Hearded, so they're like, well, I can't have him now.
I'd like to say that Johnny Depp kind of Johnny Depped himself.
Yeah, okay.
But let's be fair.
I mean, they did it to each other. Like
everybody's covered in human excrement.
It was a team effort.
Glass.
It was a team effort to look that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. I'm so glad that's behind us. That was not my favorite pop culture moment.
Yeah.
Hearing about
that there was no good. There were no good
gross,
takes.
Intimate moments.
Yeah.
I don't care.
There were no good takes on either side of that thing.
I had a friend who was like obsessed and would keep me up to date, and I just could not care at all.
No, and then like, because Amber Heard came out looking so terrible, and Johnny Depp came out looking so terrible, and then Elon Musk released the pics of where he made her dress up as DVA or whatever, Mercy, whatever it is from fucking.
The cosplay thing.
Yeah, the
that
cosplay
was like
thing,
a
and it's
private
like,
photo.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I did like I thought she was a piece of shit, and now I feel really bad for her. Like, just stop.
That's the power of Elon Musk, man. You know, we just spent months learning how awful this person is, and you show us a photograph of her and humanize her in a moment.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, too. He wasn't meaning to do that.
No, he was not. He thought he was cool.
It's like, she's so hot. Look at this. And they're like, whoa.
Like, dude.
Gross.
Yeah, don't do that. So, all right.
She didn't come off any crazier than Johnny Depp.
No.
Those were two unstable, wealthy people fighting with each other.
Yeah.
That's how poor couples fight. It just looks different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and it was just fascinating to see humanity do the thing that it always does, which is encamp on two sides of a fence and throw shit at each other for
That's all we know.
no reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Two.
Mm-hmm.
Coke and Pepsi, McDonald's and Burger King. You know,
Yeah,
that's all we know. We're only comfortable with two. Three, we lose our fucking minds.
Well, and meanwhile, there's a significant portion of humanity going, what is up with those people throwing shit at each other?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to eat, man. I'm just trying to live my fucking life.
Do you know 2023 was the first year in, I want to say human history, but the first year in soda history that Dr. Pepper outsold Pepsi.
Wow. No, they're the choice of a new generation.
You know what, Thoreau? The South will rise again, man. That's a sign right there.
It will. Okay, that's our box office top 10, which brings us to the production of the film itself. We're going to start by doing a little creepypasta history lesson here, because this film is based on creepypasta, internet challenges.
Digital horror.
Yeah.
Which
also some analog horror, but mostly digital for this movie.
The creepypasta thing, does it predate the copy pasta thing? The like, I am a Navy SEAL who's going to come to your house.
I mean, in that, the term creepypasta doesn't predate it, but creepy internet memes that are
shared writing, communal
does
storytelling.
Because I remember in the 90s, just going on the internet and just finding weird, creepy websites. Like, it was back then, there was a lot of stuff about like it was like the Illuminati stuff. It was like a lot more like a X-Files-y world.
And blog space
gun.
Yeah.
Just blog space. Everybody having a blog and starting to evolve that area.
Yeah.
That became Reddit and creepypasta eventually.
Yeah.
I remember reading before 9/11 online at some point, reading a bunch of UFO stories that essentially are horror.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense. That's that same idea.
Yeah.
Like we're all telling each other stories to freak each other out like a campfire.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That I remember seeing there were a lot of sites that would have like ghost pictures before I really understood Photoshop back in the 90s, that with like stories about them, and then like people would like post other things like saying, oh yes, this is the same ghost, and so
it's elaborating and constructing something from the communal pool.
Yeah,
it's neat. It's a neat idea. I mean, Star Wars fan fiction, there's a lot of this kind of stuff that exists in more, I don't want to say like physical like communities,
but yeah, in smaller, more focused pre-search engine communities in the 90s. Because like it was,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like it was. I remember it was before even Yahoo or Ask Jeeves, like just typing in random websites into the address bar as like, I don't know, ghosts.com. What do we got here? But Josh, you were saying? All right.
I don't remember.
But creepypasta in its more modern sense was an offshoot of the copy pasta from 4chan, It started on 4chan, spread to other forums in the 2000s, mid to late 2000s. So there's a lot of different kind of creepypastas.
Like regular pasta.
Like regular pasta. There's fusilli. You got rotini. There's all sorts. Yeah. Oh, and even offline. Did any of you get like chainmail in the 80s and 90s?
I'm too young for chainmail.
I got chainmail.
I saw my dad get chainmail and throw it away.
I got chainmail and I was like 10 or 11, so I was like, fuck. I'm so fucked. I'm going to have the worst luck. This is awful. I don't even have 7 people I can write to. I don't know 7 people. I'm 10. Yeah. But yeah, no, chainmail, and which turned into chain emails.
I got a lot of chain emails during the Obama era.
Ooh.
From a lot of my crazy neighbors growing up.
Oof.
That I remember.
But Thoreau's referring to those, like, if you don't do this, like, do this or else.
Yes.
Well, very vague, not all that threatening, but yeah, send this to this many people. Send
in those
$1.
early days.
Sorry, dude.
Of the right-wing email chain, there was an element of that attached to it, but it wasn't like, if you don't do this, Bloody Mary's gonna haunt you in your mirror. It was more, if you don't do this, you're killing America.
Sure.
Which is crazy. It's not the same, but it's not that different too. Or it's like that's the spooky.
Well, and those political ones turned into the Facebook kind of chain email posts where like our Jesus's lovers will like and share. The devil's followers will scroll by.
It's interesting because to the UFO thing, from the UFO to the political posts on Facebook that are, there's a line. So at some point this stops being fiction and starts being misinformation.
Yes.
Which is interesting. And this movie does an interesting thing, I think, of not it doesn't delve into that deeply, but I think that it touches on that in an interesting way.
Yes. No, it does. It does. And the blurring, part of the whole creepypasta thing and the whole MMORPG thing is the blurring of lines between reality and the game. That's kind of the main aspect that makes a creepypasta, not just a story that's spooky. Some of the first earliest examples of creepypastas are from the 2000s. The Rake. You guys know about The Rake? Josh is nodding. Brian is shaking.
The Rake.
Shaking.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was already a
cryptozoology. Yeah.
It already existed, but then they started creating stories about this creature, the Rake.
Yeah. So it's like just a kind of a humanoid monster thing that lives like in tunnels.
Yep. Snatches kids or snatches you or whatever.
Yeah. It's It gets later on, like the Slender Man was kind of an offshoot of the original Rake stories in some ways.
Yes, because the Rake was very twig-like. Huge eyes, but very tall and thin and spindly.
He looks kind of like a zombie version of the classic gray alien.
Yeah, I can see that.
Zombified version.
I think he came from the UK originally. Not he.
He immigrated in the 80s.
He's all, I'm the Rake. I ramble and Rake. All right.
Yeah. But yeah. And like he'd like come into your like room and like make you hurt yourself and stuff. But much like my intrusive thoughts. But
yeah, right? Because you're sort of like a succubus type thing. Right?
Yeah, like you'd sit on your bed and like you'd What? Much like
read you Goodnight Moon.
Much like Uncle Ted.
Yeah, he was also a rake.
A fabulous rake. Yeah.
The word also means like a scoundrel or like a guy who gets around.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But okay. And then
it's on your bed.
There's Ted the Caver, which was a 2001 story about a guy exploring caves, in which he supposedly saw like underground creatures. The what was that movie?
Descent.
Descent was kind of based on that creepypasta.
That's a really good horror movie.
Yeah,
I'll stand by it.
Just finding weird, like large black-eyed creatures underground.
Yeah, like trogs that never caught up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Ted the Caver was written as if it was a real blog about a spelunker. It wasn't purported to be fictional, although it is because it's a creepypasta. So there's a number of there's lost media creepypastas.
Those are a lot of fun, I think. There's one called the McKinley tapes.
Oh.
That's interesting. And then one that's like channels something, but it's like these vintage clips from this small station in Montana where it's like their weather tips, but then also make sure you don't go outside and don't look them in the eyes. But it's all set in this very retro style news broadcast.
Yeah.
They're fun. The lost media ARGs are fun.
They are. And like for anyone who's aware, Attention Hallmark Shoppers. It was my first podcast. It's an audio drama. So a lot of audio dramas are kind of based around creepypasta things, and that was a big, especially 10 years ago or so, that was a huge genre within the audio drama community. But one of the first, of course, was Welcome to Night Vale, which was kind of a lost media creepypasta thing that they that it was purporting to be a radio station's broadcasts from a weird creepy town.
Yeah, that's cool. There's an Ethan Hawke movie that's actually a pretty good horror movie, Sinister.
Oh yeah.
I think that was also creepypasta about because it has lost media, has films of kids committing these murders and stuff.
Oh yeah.
One of the most famous examples of lost media creepypastas is the Squidward suicide, which purports to be a lost episode of SpongeBob in which Squidward commits suicide.
Oh my God! I'll let you finish that, but it reminded me.
Okay, yeah. This is it's a I've seen it. It's creepy and disturbing as hell, and it starts kind of like a regular SpongeBob episode, but then starts getting weird and creepy, and like at one point, Squidward hangs
finally
himself.
does it.
Yeah, he hangs himself. Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
It really was. Let's be honest.
Wasn't there a Mickey Mouse thing?
There
too,
was.
That was like
Suicide
Lost Mickey.
The Suicide Mouse AVI. It's a 9-minute Mickey Mouse short, which was uploaded as purported as being a piece of lost media, an unreleased cartoon, in which Mickey starts talking to the viewer. And then Mickey
like peels his skin off.
Yes, he peels off his skin and starts talking about like hell and says real suffering is not known. All
right. Well, this, if you don't mind, this reminded me if you want to check out a lost media horror. The whole series has been done, so you can watch it all kind of in a gulp. But it's called Gilbert Garfield. And it starts all the way back as a like 8-bit video game, and this company making these products with this character, which is Garfield with Gilbert Gottfried's face sort of around the mouth, and he talks like this, and it's Garfield, and it's incredible. It's a really cool lost media storyline.
Wow. Okay, that's creepy as hell.
Psyop mind control with this Gilbert Garfield character. Yeah, sorry. Check it out, people.
Wow. Yeah. So there's a ton of lost media ones. There's a bunch of video game ones, in which people actually make playable video games that end up being creepy and are supposed to, make you kill yourself or get pulled into hell or whatever they purport to do. There's then of course there's like the creature ones, which we kind of talked about with the rake. Slender Man is probably the most famous creepypasta at this point, I think. I can't think of one that's bigger than Slender Man.
No, I mean, it inspired literal murder.
Yes. In 2014, in was it Waukesha? Yeah. Yes. In 2014, in Waukesha, 2 girls tortured and killed a third girl, middle school aged, in order to appease Slender Man. That was I was living in Wisconsin at the time, and it was a big story. That was probably the biggest creepypasta moment, I think, in pop culture.
Yeah, and it even spoke to the situation itself, because the sort of mastermind girl was all in on the Slender Man thing, obviously to a point of mental illness, but convinced her friend, who was not necessarily psychopathic. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, how convincing it can be, real life or online.
Yeah, exactly. And that is more that story is less about any media and more about mental illness.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, make that distinction. I do not think media does that to people, but she told her friend enough stories that her friend believed that there was something that needed to be done. And yeah, interesting.
Really it was just a small scale, Jim Jones.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Herb Manson, maybe. No, because the girl actually did it.
Yeah. In the Slender Man, the first Slender Man story was in June 10th, 2009, posted to Something Awful. You guys remember Something Awful?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
It was kind of it was just like
college humor, but for gross stuff.
More like just gross stuff Reddit. Well, Reddit's just gross stuff, but people would post like beheading videos and creepypastas and like just whatever, just bad, awful stuff.
Cursed images.
Yeah. Yes.
You're watching a benign video and then
those ones that's just a car driving, and then all of a sudden it's like someone made up and blah.
I know. Remember when the internet was just adorable? Just you filming your grandfather watching one, or your grandmother watching one of those.
Right.
And she gets scared, and we're all like, "Oh,
look at she didn't know."
We got
her. Slender Man was created by a forum poster named Eric Knudsen, going under the pseudonym Victor Surge. As far as the first one, it was the story he wrote. The Slender Man was based on Lovecraft writings. And it included, supposedly recovered photographs and such. So now
I like that he's always wearing a suit.
He's dapper.
Dress for the job you want.
Right? He's like, I'm in the woods, but I'm in a suit because I'd rather be haunting a corporate office.
You'd buy a hypercolor shirt and pajama pants.
Now, an offshoot of creepypasta is the internet challenge, the challenge, which this is based on. That genre is a whole lot of like basically people taking a challenge, and then it becomes increasingly creepy, and they'll post videos of themselves being creepy until eventually they post a video of themselves going into a portal to hell or becoming a ghost or
transforming.
Yeah.
Is that what I was supposed to do after the ice bucket challenge?
Yes.
The bloody bucket. But, I think Brian mentioned earlier the Bloody Mary type thing. I dare you to say it because it's 3 times. Even in this, I love that it's always.
I feel like it's a way for parents to scare their kids that kids then find useful to scare their friends.
Yes.
That's like it's not this multi-generational thing, like a lot of stories that we share are multi-generational. This is just like, I don't know, I'll tell my kid this because I don't know, tell him stories. And then as kids, we hear that and we're like, oh yeah, this thing is so, and you're so invested in it. Yeah.
That's an excellent point. That's very interesting. Growing up with the boogeyman, this very vague sort of catch-all of, if you eat too much candy, the boogeyman will get you. If you stay up too late,
but then you get 6 kids together, and one of them's just like bubbling over with energy because they were told the boogeyman is real last night by their father. They go to their friends, and they're like, "Fucking boogeyman's in my bedroom last night." So crazy.
But then, like you said,
because the content is
taking that and turning it into entertainment and things to scare themselves. Like you just said, that is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
you scared me with this my whole life, and so now we're going to make it interesting.
It's interesting watching it, the democratization of the internet and how like we have access to everything. That's not. It's funny. It makes me think it's not unlike get ready with me videos in the morning. Like, why am I watching this? Why is this a thing? I don't watch this, but like, I know they exist, but people watch them because there's something to it. It's the same thing. I don't read copy pasta or watch Slenderman videos, but there's something to it for the people that watch it.
There is.
And perceived connection.
Yeah. But it's different than it being Mike Myers or a movie villain or whatever, like,
well, I think the whole, like the whatever form it takes, the whole point of most content creation that is not a piece of professional media that people are making, whether it's OnlyFans or an ASMR video or whatever it is that connection, which is it's so ironic because I think our phones maybe are making us less connected.
What an idea.
To quote a joke on...
I think they may be making us less connected, but not everybody. I just think the kids in the middle of Nebraska,
sure.
They're probably more connected than they have ever been.
Right. No, and it's going to be interesting to see a generation from now what the long-term effects of everybody everywhere knowing everything all at once is to an entire generation of people, because those kids in LA that before would go and hang out now are sitting in their bedrooms alone, but those kids in Nebraska who are sitting in their bedrooms alone now have someone to explore new ideas with, which they never would have come in contact.
They're hanging out with kids from LA.
Yeah, it's weird. The physical world is disappearing into the online world, but it's not as simple as like, it's sad because the kids don't go down to the park and get drunk on Saturdays anymore. Like,
it's fascinating. I think I'm grateful that I don't hate the future as much as I could.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to be around, so.
Yeah. Eventually, it's going to be weirder and worse.
Care.
That's my attitude about it. It's like right now, it's not as weird or bad as it could be.
I'm just looking forward to being a brain in a jar because I won't have to go to work.
I don't even want.
And no lower back pain.
Yeah,
that's what I hear.
So probably the most famous creepypasta internet challenge is the Blue Whale Challenge, which clearly inspired a large chunk of this film. The Blue Whale Challenge started in Russia and spread, around the world, but it was a game in which people would post videos of themselves having to do different tasks, which were assigned to players by administrators of the game. It's unclear how those were chosen or if they were just people who self-appointed themselves as administrators. It's a bit amorphous. But towards the end, they would start assigning self-harm challenges, with the final challenge being that the players kill themselves. Initially it was taken as a game and people would post that they did, but it was alter egos. But there were a couple players who did kill themselves, although it's very unclear as to whether it was influenced by the game or if they were simply just, teenagers who were having mental health issues who also happened to play this game.
Right. I think it's a math situation. They didn't have to put "this is not a toy" on a plastic bag until somebody used it as a toy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, was it the game or were these kids just having that time?
And I don't want to overgeneralize, but I think this kind of media on the internet attracts a certain type of person who has particular issues. Potentially. This is not somebody who is a super Disney fan who's like, I'm gonna fucking do the Blue Whale Challenge. There may be some overlap there, but it's somebody who is looking for something to connect with.
I meant to do the Blue Whale Challenge, but I accidentally did the Blue Waffle Challenge, and I didn't get farther than the first step.
I just stopped at the word blue, and I've been sad ever since.
I stopped Googling things with blue and lemon in it a decade ago.
Yeah. The Blue Lemon Challenge is the worst.
But it does attract. I mean, that is we were talking about earlier about in the 90s, those message boards popping up. It wasn't a sudden interest in, say, UFOs or aliens. Finally, these people could share these experiences. They thought maybe they were abducted, but everyone in their dumbass town has heard the story and they think he's an idiot. So they were able to so I think creepypasta, all this stuff sort of bloomed from there. Like, I had a ghost experience. I don't even think it was real, but what do you think? And then it just...
Yeah, well, and I imagine somebody seeing one of those initial posts having interaction and being like, oh, I want that.
Right. I can talk to somebody who doesn't think I'm crazy.
Yeah. And the difference, I think, that the threshold crossing from I believe in aliens, and the only way I can talk to other people about it is by sharing a magazine, writing a letter to a magazine or periodical or whatever, and physically going to meetings in cities. And that's the craziest of the fucking crazies.
Yeah.
But you remove the room full of crazy people and you just get their words on a page, and it becomes a little bit easier to be like, oh, well, this is valid. That's interesting. It's interesting to see how much
naturally
removing
fiction will grow out of that.
Yeah.
People will start writing their stories.
Removing people from places makes it easier to sell a story. It takes a lot more work and craftsmanship, I think, to sell a story from a stage speaking than it does.
Yes, it is.
Writing it. Yeah, exactly. You are the medium versus, oh, I wrote this and I edited it over time until I thought it was perfect. So if you're a bullshit, I believe in UFOs, I saw a UFO, I got abducted, you really got to be a true believer or a really good actor until the internet allowed you to share those stories.
I mean, a good portion of the act of being a true believer of acting is in that moment, you become a true believer while you're on stage. Yeah. So a little bit, probably the most one of the biggest more modern creepypastas is the Backrooms. That they made there's a video game made out of that, but the Backrooms basically is just like a series of like empty liminal office.
I was going to say there's a genre dedicated to liminal spaces.
Yeah.
And the creepiness that even through a video you feel like there were people here, there should be people here, nothing is here.
There's so much. I watched a video. I was down a YouTube rabbit hole and I got onto lost footage, whatever, found our Backrooms kind of videos. And I was curious because I was like, oh, this is fascinating. This guy found a stairwell in the middle of the forest. Cool. Let's watch him walk down it. And I watched, for like a 30-minute video, just kind of like automatically started to play. But so much of it was sound design. It's crazy how the visual element, it captures us, but the sound design is what tricks our brains. And this movie does it too.
Yes.
But those Backrooms, I had random introduction to it, so I didn't like deep dive like watching Backrooms videos, but I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this actually? And it's people who use Blender and other 3D software to make those spaces, and then they film themselves walking through places, and then they
I've never seen anyone walking through any.
There's a couple of guys on YouTube who make these spaces virtually. And then
there's a first-person camera point of view, but I never see someone being filmed. That I feel like that would throw off the whole liminal.
Well, I think it's there's like a line between the two. Like the one that I saw, it was a guy first person, but you can see him walking. You can see his hands. You can see his reflection in windows and stuff. It was like underground windows.
That seems less creepy. That seems like it grounds you too much, in my opinion.
It was surprising how much like the drawing it out made it creepy. And like I said, the sound design of it, it was was that the sound of paper rustling in the background in the distance? He's in danger. Like you keep feeling like this person is in danger.
I don't know.
It's interesting to see, but they spend weeks and weeks and weeks designing the spaces so that they look real. I was just like, oh, it's like telling a story that feels real, but only through the visual medium.
What is that game? It was came out 10, 15 years ago. It has a narrator and you're just going through rooms, and then what is that video game? It was a computer game initially. It was
Myst?
Not Myst. It wasn't a creepy one. It was kind of it was a little creepy, but it was mostly comedy because of the narrator. That's going to bug me. I can't remember what that is. But that's kind of the first, that was kind of the first Backrooms thing that I remember seeing. That's going to bug me. Yeah. So, that's, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of most of our biggest creepypasta things. There are an unlimited amount of them. There's so many online. So I think that brings us to the production of the film itself. This, We're All Going to the World's Fair was written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn, who is a trans filmmaker. They started out, their first feature-length film was a documentary about online creepypasta stuff. As far as let's see, it was called A Self-Induced Hallucination, and that inspired them to make this. They got some minor financing for this, but it was largely self-produced and self-financed. It stars. We have 2 cast members. Anna Cobb as Casey. This was Anna Cobb's first film. Since then, it looks like Anna Cobb has been in one movie called Bones and All. So she's a very young actress who is still working on making it. And Michael J. Rogers as JLB. Michael Rogers is a let's see, he's probably best known for playing Barry Nile in Beyond the Black Rainbow, a Canadian psychedelic science fiction horror film.
Jesus.
There's nothing more psychedelic than Canada.
This felt like maybe it was Canada.
Yeah, it was filmed in New England.
It's in New York.
It was filmed in upstate New York.
What do they say?
Just
New York.
They don't say it anywhere in the film, but
you just see the yellow license plates.
In researching, they filmed.
In the end, he says
filmed.
they met in Manhattan.
I didn't say filmed.
Set.
Set. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just supposed to be set. Somewhere.
Okay.
I think it's in New York,
USA.
Yeah,
I think it's set in New York because at the end he says he met her in Manhattan, which is a lie.
A year later or whatever. But Al's right. It's definitely supposed to be any town because they make it. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it was filmed in large part in upstate New York and some Connecticut. The small I can't remember the name of the town, but the ball drop, the New England the ball drop in that small town was in a Connecticut town, according to Jane.
Yeah.
But Michael Rogers, who played GLB, he was also in the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
It's a decent movie.
Yeah, he had a very small role. He didn't have a speaking role in it. He was in the 2002 Dead Zone. He was in a Hellraiser. He's done a lot of character actor horror movies.
He was in an episode of Supergirl.
Oh.
The character was Hannibal. I don't remember.
Oh, and an episode of Arrow. Fringe. Yeah. Oh, and Poltergeist: The Legacy. Oh, and he was in an episode of The X-Files. So, yeah. A lot of background and character actor stuff. Small walk-on roles. There's not a whole lot to go into on this film's background. It premiered at Sundance in 2021. It got picked up theatrically. It got picked up by Utopia, which is a very small distribution company, film production distribution company, that releases a lot of horror schlock. Mickey and the Bear, Empty Pockets. It is the first in what Jane Schoenbrunn refers to as a screen trilogy. The second of which is I Saw the TV Glow, which just came out this year, and I haven't seen yet, but I've heard is very good.
Heard it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it was the same director.
That's cool. Yeah. That's their
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that completely.
Have you seen I Saw the TV Glow?
I still haven't yet. Josh recommended it, and it came up immediately after this. It was like, do you want to watch? Have you watched the TV Glow or whatever? And I was like, oh, maybe next.
Yeah, I think we're actually watching it tonight.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, that's about it. There's not a whole lot to the production. A film has 90% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 27% audience score. Looking through a lot of the low ratings, it seems to have been review bombed due to the writer-director being a trans woman. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There's that. I have a couple Letterboxd reviews here. Letterboxd reviewer 24 Frames of Nick writes, not one single fucking fair in this movie. 3.5 stars.
Unfair. Hashtag.
Letterboxd user Eddie writes, they finally made a movie about going on the computer. 2 stars.
Going on the computer. I haven't heard that expression since people who have passed, but now
yeah.
It's going on the computer.
But yeah, that's about it. Guys, are we ready to jump into the movie itself?
We're all going to the World's Fair.
Hang on, Thoreau. What I was looking up, I was trying to look up the computer game. Was it the Stanley Parable?
The Stanley Parable. Thank you, Al. The Stanley Parable.
Oh my God.
Good pull.
Forgot about the Stanley Parable.
Woo.
Holy shit.
Thank God. Now
Wow,
Thoreau doesn't
Thoreau.
have to go insane.
Yes.
It didn't click in my head at all. But yeah.
It's
Thank you, Al.
It's kind of like a comedy, like Backrooms liminal space game with a little bit of spookiness in it.
Just a scotch.
Yes. So, all right, here we go. This is We're All Going to the World's Fair. We open on a webcam view of Casey, a teenage girl in her bedroom. She's eating string cheese and getting ready to record a video of herself taking the viral World's Fair challenge. She adjusts her lighting and starts recording.
She gets her lemur stuffy.
Yes, she does.
Oh.
And so she says, I want to go to the World's Fair 3 times. Pricks her finger in the craziest fucking way to prick your finger I've ever seen.
Well, yeah,
This hurt my
was
soul.
It was a button, right? Or a pin?
Yeah, but like the way she just like whack, 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 whack.
Stabbed at it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you don't have to do that. You could just like press it into your finger.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I do it.
Did you guys notice the effect on the button when she was showing it to the screen?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was a little holographic kind
of. It alternated between a skull and like the globe.
Oh, huh. Interesting. But yeah, then she watches a video, some sort of strobing video, which we can't see. We're never shown the actual video that she has to watch to.
She tears up.
Yeah. And says she'll post
the
up.
visual effect was very neat.
Yeah.
I thought that it was very cool. The blurring and the like, just the different like
the artifacting
exposure times and stuff that they were using and the colors. There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, this is visually very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen next. And then nothing happened.
Yes.
Did we not see it later when dude was watching it?
Oh, when he gets pulled into the thing. I think that's the same video.
Is it? Okay. It might.
It was just kind of colorful stuff.
But that was a fictionalized version of it. That was like a
true.
Yeah, and like the ring girl.
It was someone who made a creepypasta about it.
Yeah.
It's really difficult and really impressive to act directly at a camera. To have no interaction with another actor and to be looking, you know, you're just staring down a camera and having to deliver that performance. It doesn't happen often.
No,
it's not breaking the fourth wall. It's just that point of view, but it's tough to do.
Yeah, no, the actress Anna Cobb, she did a great job. Like she carried this movie.
I agree.
So yeah, she says if she starts noticing any changes, she'll post updates. We cut to a title card and a credit sequence. We get I don't know, some sad lesbian indie folk music kind of vibes going on. Some real like boy genius stuff happening there. Then over some early winter dirty suburb. All the piles of dirty snow and shit.
But also to Al's point about every town, like you it's showing you not just what the town is, but the death of the American town. Like,
right.
All suburbia is dead. All those stores are abandoned and not even turned into anything else. And everything is drab and hasn't been maintained. And
the Toys R Us.
Yeah, and the Best Buy.
Well, yeah. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. Continue.
No, I was
just gonna say it's like a lot of like 6-lane streets. The speed limit's 40. There's no walkable areas. There's no sidewalks. You have to jaywalk to get over to the AutoZone, which is the only thing there. Like
that's probably one of the few businesses still able to be supported. So it does a good job of silently telling you why she or anyone would want to escape into the internet, because it's literally, it's death. These towns are dead.
Yeah, they're barely even towns anymore. They're loose collections of corporate owned chain businesses that
houses that were never filled.
Yeah. Oh. And again, the bleakness of that early winter, the trees are empty. Mm-hmm. It's just piles of dirty snow. Yeah.
They do a good job of letting us know why her world is so insular. It might partially be because of some, mental situations, but also everything is bleak. And we get hints that her mother has passed and dad is sort of off in his own world. So yeah, of course the internet's attractive to her.
Yeah. Well, and they live in a house that doesn't seem to be part of any sort of like a development or anything. It's like it's just like out on its own. This is very like a exurb, not even suburb, but an exurb kind of area.
Right. The woods are the only other place she has to go.
Yeah. Casey's walking home. She has a backpack on. Presumably she's walking home from school. And since it seems like there's no more school involved, it seems like maybe time-wise, this is the first day of winter break. She's walking home from school for winter break.
That would make sense because we go through Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. So it seems like maybe this whole thing takes place over a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe. Then she arrives home. She's alone in her house. She's watching videos on her phone while eating a dinner she presumably made for herself. Other World's Fair challengers, they're recording and posting their own challenges. We find out the only thing you have to do is keep posting updates of the changes that you're undergoing. We hear her dad pull up.
The changes you're undergoing. Yeah. Are you there, Slender Man? It's me, Margaret. My body's changing.
I mean, yeah. So she goes up to her room to eat. When her dad comes, she's avoiding her dad. We get there's obviously tension between her and her dad. And like you mentioned, Josh, it seems like there's maybe been the loss of a mother sometime in the not too distant past.
Right. And I mean, the one line that you get, he seems crotchety and distant more than abusive. And, the polar opposite, like she's now a ghost to him and his grief has made him an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And she does not want to be around him. At all.
No. He doesn't get her. Nobody gets her, but he definitely doesn't.
Well, yeah, he's the kind of guy who has he drives a truck and has an assault rifle in a camo rifle bag in a barn.
Yeah, he's a type.
Yeah, exactly. She watches videos into the night. We see a guy in a bathroom whose skin is starting to crust over. Woman who says she's becoming plastic and just stares into a mirror.
The kid who feels like he's swallowing Tetris blocks.
Yes. Yeah. Who says like there's Tetris inside him. Although,
it's up to about here.
Yeah. As someone who owned a first generation Game Boy, there's Tetris inside of me too, but in a different way.
Seriously. My eyes just feel like they're always doing this still.
So at that, her dad pounds. It seems her room's the attic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and her dad pounds on the door, telling her to go to sleep. It's 3 a.m. She says sorry. That's the only interaction.
I was gonna say that's the last and only time.
He doesn't even tell her to go to bed.
Yeah,
he doesn't care. He's just like, it's 3 a.m. in the fucking morning. Like,
yeah,
the music is playing too loud.
Yeah, as long as she's quiet as a mouse, he doesn't pay any attention to her.
I found this interesting that they established this, that the music was too loud. He could hear her laptop. He banged. And this is the last time we ever hear from him. I think that's interesting to note going forward with a lot of what she does later on.
Okay.
Because just to keep in mind for one theory of things that are happening that aren't explicitly stated.
Cool.
So we cut to daytime. Casey's recording a video out in the woods with no jacket on. Must be fucking freezing. Talks about how she would sleepwalk when she was younger, and says she has started feeling like that again since taking the challenge. She stops recording, and then later on inside said she's going to record a video of herself sleeping. She gives up pretty quickly though. That desk lamp shining directly in her face can't be helping her fall asleep.
Ugh, I could never.
Yeah. So she gives up and goes outside to their barn shed. It has like a couch and a TV and everything, but she finds
it has a projector on a pool table.
Yeah. It's like the game room, like, the
why
man
is it on
cave.
the pool table?
Yeah.
It was a weird thing. Like, you would install this on the ceiling.
Well, I mean, this just occurred to me, but maybe Dad stopped his projects when Mom died.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
That's
what's the point of the family game room? This just occurred to me. I don't think it was a subtext, but yeah, I think things are half finished in his life.
Yeah.
Everything is just a little off in that room. Also, it's just weird. Weird room.
I think it became a storage.
Yeah.
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 He stopped going in there, so she did.
Yeah. And he has an assault rifle. That's not a hunting rifle or anything. That's an assault rifle that he has in there.
Yep.
It's America, dude. It's a gun. I don't have to be that guy, but he has a gun.
Yeah.
Whatever. Rural upstate New York. People don't realize how many rednecks are in upstate New York.
Ultimately, I think the issue is that he has an unsecured gun in the home.
Yes, he does. An unsecured gun. Yes. So she falls asleep watching videos, including an ASMR video. I personally don't get ASMR.
I hate it so much. I hate the sibilance. I hate the sounds. I hate the fucking sucking of their teeth.
The mouth sounds drive me nuts. I don't like hearing people eat. I don't like mouth sounds personally.
I don't understand how millennials and Gen Zers are so into ASMR. I don't know what it is. I haven't met any Gen Xers that are like, dude, ASMR, it's my shit.
No one spoke to us like that. we do not have a nostalgia for like, there you are, there, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of that, even from the nicest of our parents.
I was raised by my grandfather, and there is like, do you want something to eat?
Stroking your hair in a calm voice
sound
until you fall asleep.
I
have some of those memories when I was a kid, but 19 and needing to do I don't get that.
Yeah, it does not connect with any part of me inside at all, except for the disgust response. I have an immediate
and in this one, she's
response.
staring right at you, like she's laying next to you.
Well, and the long fingernail. I am also not a big fan of super long fingernails. And those are coming at the screen pretty.
Oh, that's right. You used to work in the club too, so you've seen it. wide variety.
Oh, they're bigger now, man. They're and pointy.
Yeah.
They're long and pointy now.
Yeah. No, there's.
They used to just have like dolphins and like cupid zirconia and like bedazzling, you know.
Yeah,
they used to be charming.
Yeah, but now they're full on like Max Shrek,
Lady Deathstrike,
Count Orlok. Yeah. Then a video comes on from a user called JLB talking to Casey directly with a screenshot of her face, which is distorted, along with messages that say, "You are in trouble and I need to talk to you." So
about your car warranty.
I tried to reach. I made that same joke when we were watching it.
Yeah, I need to talk to you. You're in trouble. Your insurance rates are way too high.
You can save 15% by switching to Geico.
There's a Nigerian prince that needs your help.
Yeah.
So, JLB.
JLB.
I think this is the thing the movie hinges upon, obviously. This is how they end the movie, too. Ugh, it's my least favorite part of this whole movie. He's playing the game.
Yes.
And this is how he's choosing to play the game, is by interacting with other players of the game, is my interpretation. Just
to
from the
warn
jump.
them. But
yeah.
Because he's blending the lines of making it seem more real by warning them.
He seems to have a control over the situation. I don't know that he started the game, but nothing's happening to him.
So there's a few things.
He seems as creepy as he did in the beginning of the movie.
There's a few things going on here. So he's obviously in a house
that takes 5 minutes to walk from one end to the other.
Right. And it doesn't seem to be
multi-million-dollar
It doesn't
home.
seem to be a house that he's in charge of. First off,
we get one shot of a woman with bags from a few rooms away. And at first I thought maybe a wife and they have this straight, but I think it's his mother. I think his mother is wealthy and he still lives with his mom. Because look at how expansive that house is, and look at his room.
And the
his
room
looks like it's the same one when he was 12.
But
it's a teenager's room.
But okay, so there's a couple things here. It's a teenager's room, but it's also partially decorated with a bunch of old lady stuff. Like he's come back recently, and it's filled with like porcelain clowns and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I noticed that.
So
stuff
he's
like,
come.
Yeah.
It seems like he's come back recently. There's a few.
Okay, that makes sense.
There's a few. There's some theories online. Because, okay, so like you can see like some of his notes and stuff that he's taking. There's different players and he has them marked as either white hat or black hat.
I took photos of the notes so that we could discuss them.
Good,
because I was
okay.
like, oh, not that it's important, but like, I don't know if you want to do that now. It happens later on.
Yeah, maybe when we get to it.
But yeah, I like walked up to my TV and was like, I'm just going to take pictures. I'm not even going to read these now.
Nice. Yeah, so JLB and Casey talk on Skype. That fucking Skype ring. Boop, doop, doop,
bloop,
boop, doop, boop, boop.
It is a fucking bop. Like at the very beginning, it's not. But the moment those drums hit, it's a bop, man.
But
also, I think it's weird that this movie came out in 2021, right? Was when this was like initially released. Sundance. And they're using the photo booth and Skype.
Yeah.
When today you would be using YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, but proprietary, it's like the perfect example is cell phones in movies and TV. We saw them progress slower because they finally were able to use it. It took so long to see a smartphone.
Oh yeah.
Everybody had a flip phone, and it was like,
Facebook.
okay, now the patent has been developed enough that you can use. So I think it's probably the same thing here. I think Zoom would have given them some shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that the Skype sound is a proprietary sound. I was expecting, because they made a video game, just like a brief shot of a video game. You just make a Twitch layer thing that looks like a flip-flop. Follow me on flip-flop or whatever, It's just was weird.
Yes.
It took me out as an old man going Skype and photo booth.
Yeah.
What year is it? 2007?
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah.
James Marsden and Liz Lemon missing the sound that TiVo used to make. Boop, 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 bang, boop, bang, boop, boop, boop. All right.
So yeah.
Wow. I feel very seen by that.
Yeah. Remember that? Bong, bong, boop, 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 bong.
So yeah, they talk over Skype. He keeps his camera off. He says he's worrying about the symptoms she's reported, encourages her to keep making videos so he can monitor her well-being.
I have a question. She's been making videos, but at up to the point where he contacts her, what symptoms did she talk about? Is it just stuff he saw when she was asleep?
Well, it's unclear.
Do you know what I mean? Like we hear other people, the Tetris guy, the plastic guy, the guy who can, the body horror.
She said she didn't feel cold. She said she was outside. I don't feel my body.
Yeah.
I don't feel cold.
Okay.
And she talked
it's really cold outside.
Yeah.
Like that was the one thing.
That
Okay.
It's
And-
go ahead, Al.
Oh, the feeling that she had when she was a kid, the sleepwalking, the dream walking,
And the sleepwalking.
and at which point she said something about like standing in front of a car and not moving, just letting it hit you.
Yeah, this movie set up.
That's a pre-existing condition.
Well, so her
and-
insurance isn't going to cover any of this then, Josh.
But then it can explain other things like contorted faces in weird positions because she is mobile in her sleep.
Yeah.
That wasn't a symptom of. Well, anyways, it was a question I was genuinely asking. I couldn't. She did
I forget
say her
where we
body was.
see it, but the World's Fair reads your dreams. Was what they said. Like it's like a conduit, is what somebody said. It's a conduit that reads your dreams. It reads your deepest dreams and makes them real or whatever.
It felt really all of a sudden for him to be like, your symptoms.
Right. I got the feeling it was implied that she had posted some videos which we didn't see.
I think it's also that he has a weird attraction that we'll obviously, I'm sure we'll talk about that with JLP, but
right. Yeah. Cause
even though there were other players down there, he's a bit obsessed.
Yeah.
So the conversation about the game reading your dreams and being a conduit, that was the first conversation they had over Skype.
Yeah. Yes.
Where that was.
Yes. And so, I mean, I've seen, I read there's a few interpretations of what his deal is. I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about him. This is the first time we see him right after they talk. We see him in his house. Brian, you said you took pictures of the.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my evidence up.
Let's draw chalk lines around the body so that we know where it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Working from, I had to get like close-up pictures of it because I just used my phone. So he has to investigate further. Possible World's Fair relationship. Unfavorable semicircle. Newest QAnon drops. Blue whale challenge plus Momo.
Oh.
Blood over intent
Momo.
rituals. Oh, we didn't talk about Momo.
Momo
That's
is
another copy paste, creepy pasta.
Yeah, the cursed image.
Yeah, the Momo challenge.
Brain in Vat. Gilbert Harmon.
I'm sorry. Growing up Italian back east, the Momo challenge was to find the largest Italian guy you could and beat the shit out. Say something about his mom.
Then we have Jeff the Killer.
Fucking Momo.
And then Mother Horse Eyes.
Hmm.
And then he says, rewatch Paranormal Activity and rewatch The Matrix. That's on one. There's
Rewatch
plenty.
them. You have to write yourself a note to rewatch the
You
Matrix.
fucking forget what happens in The Matrix for real.
He's like, oh, Neo's the one. Oh.
So then he has a list of locations, planetarium, who holds the key, question mark, Karam plus the Jester, ... Uneasy Alliance, War of Two Screens, comma, Rebecca's Ideas, coming. Okay.
Gay question mark?
Hutton timeline creates video in 1943, disappears late 1944, photographed in Flushing, Queens, 2010, Portal. Typing game.
I think he's like the human version of the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
he's trying to create this thing and keep it going. Is what all these notes say.
Yes.
Game. So
he's orchestrating, I think, in a way.
Reports. How did he access the power of the video? Connections between him and Hutton, the tunnel guy. Odd that it appears out of nowhere. Potentially a tulpa. What's a tulpa? Or Mandela effect.
Tulpa. I've heard that. TULPA. Yeah, I've heard that phrase.
And then there's two more. So Karam was born Elizabeth Winters. It was her screen name, and she live streamed her suicide on December 24th, 2009. Black Hat's currently playing, Fingernail, and Bo the Clown, and Alex mid-transition. Casey to be determined, can she be saved? And then Reformed / White Hats, Rebecca, and JLB. So I don't know who the fuck Rebecca is.
Okay, I think Rebecca's the plastic. the plastic.
Oh, she's the plastic girl.
So okay,
No, Rebecca was Demon Wings.
Oh, Demon Wings. Okay.
God.
Okay.
She was chilling. Oh, and then the last thing he has was a map of the World's Fair, and then the script for the message he read to Casey.
So all right. So there's a couple things that I've seen because of the Black Hat, White Hat, Reformed. Like what so one of the theories is that he had a child who died or committed suicide by playing the World's Fair, and so he's trying to help people get through it without killing themselves.
Okay.
Or the other one is that the reason he's living with his mom is because he lost his family due to being a creeper, and he's still creeping.
I don't get the impression he's that kind of creeper. Like I don't think he's like a diddler, because even his reaction to when she's like, "Don't message me again," he doesn't react as if a lover scorned, or he's like, no. She needs to know this. I need to help her. I need to protect her. Because they could have played it just slightly different, where he was like, like a stalker who gets told to fuck off.
Right.
Yeah. I think that we are supposed to initially feel like he is a creeper and he is a threat to her.
Yes.
And that could still be true.
And
you know what I mean? True. Like maybe he had a weird encounter. You know what I mean? Like that could still be true story-wise. I think.
Right. Yeah. So I'm more inclined to believe, the first one, that he's. Whether or not the backstory is that he had a child that killed themselves or not, I'm more inclined to believe that he's trying to help people get through this without killing themselves and without causing themselves harm.
Right. He cares about her as a person, not as any sort of lustful motivation kind of thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't give her compliments that are creepy, or he doesn't act like that kind of an online creep. Now, there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
Yes, which I think is like having a child who killed themselves and then his marriage fell apart. He moved back in with his mom. That all tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But he also microwaves a glass of milk like a fucking psychopath.
Warm milk. It's weird.
But
some people like it.
You don't microwave things in a glass without a handle. That is a recipe for.
Also,
yeah, I did think you're burning your hand.
Being a grown man and drinking milk that is warmed is weird. Late at
Preferring
night.
milk as a beverage, cold or warm, is beyond me. It's
I'll
a
drink
tool.
milk.
It's for serious.
Yeah. Like I drink milk because it's easy protein and calories, but
I said preference.
To drink it as like a by itself.
If I'm eating a PBJ, warm, then I'll go for it.
Then.
But no.
I just don't understand warm milk. Like
I don't know. I never did.
If you make it warm, than if it just gets warm.
I think it's another one of those old wives' tale things we used to hear. It'll help you go to sleep.
You're right. It's for people
make you fart in bed.
It's for people who like if you're lactose intolerant. It's for people.
Even if you're not, you're drinking warm milk before you go to sleep. You got to digest.
Everyone is lactose intolerant. Farts are the lowest.
True.
Yeah,
very true.
No, it's for people who like cocoa but think that maybe it's a little too much,
spicy,
a little too spicy. It's for British people. It's British cocoa.
Bill.
Warm milk. Yes.
British cocoa. Yes.
So JLB watches a video of Casey sleeping, during which she starts to pull herself out of bed and has a creepy smile. He tells her that the forces behind the World's Fair are taking her over and she should continue posting. Then she records a video of herself dancing and singing. Did she make that song up herself? Is that a pre-existing song or is that a Casey original?
I think that's a Casey
She's making
original.
it up as she's going along. Yeah,
she's got some moves for sure.
And then when she stops and screams, she's a good little actor.
That shit got me. That was the one moment in this movie where I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? I wore headphones through the whole thing too and was just like.
That was the most disturbing scene for me personally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. And she pulled off those screams.
Yeah.
Losing Control of Myself was the title of the video.
I thought it was interesting. At this point, she has dyed her hair black.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That's true.
previously. So it's interesting to note this is clearly late at night. She's filming this a number of the she's dancing to loud music and singing and screaming
and no dad.
Yes. So
this was the point where I thought
noticed that right away.
Okay, I know how this movie's going to end. I was wrong. I'm kind of disappointed that I was wrong. But I thought, okay, she's already killed her father. She's going to kill JLB or JRB or RG Bay or whatever his name is. Biden.
IBM.
And then she's going to stand
JLB?
in traffic.
Oh, they're a shipping company, right?
That's JBL.
Oh, JBL.
That's the
Thank you.
speaker company.
Oh, those are the speaker people. UHS, USB,
OPP,
FEMA.
But the movie starts to telegraph this thing that's happening, which is A, did she kill her father?
Mm-hmm.
Also,
or did he leave?
To the JLB, we're supposed to think he's a creeper thing. I think we're supposed to think the same thing about her father.
I
think it's implied that she killed her father. I think it's implied that she's going to kill this other dude and then die, which is a big setup to like. Throughout the movie.
I definitely got the implication that she killed her dad. I wasn't following that she was going to kill JLB.
I'm going to shoot him 3 times in the stomach. He's going to leave his house to go to his first job, and then I'm going to watch him bleed out.
I thought that was about her dad.
That was about her dad.
Oh, I thought that she was talking about JLB. I must have.
No, she was talking about her plan for her dad. I don't feel like there really were any clues that he was a molester or anything. I got more of a vibe that he just did not care about her, that she was a non-entity, just a problem.
I mean, when she first didn't want to deal with him when he was coming home, I thought maybe they were going to go there, but then I didn't see any follow-up to it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, but I didn't see the clues for him. I saw the misdirects for JLB in that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if she killed him. That is an interesting. I don't know.
It's there. So it's interesting because I feel like this is the point where it makes sense that she would have killed him already, since she's loud as fuck and
screaming, stomping, dancing,
and there's multiple videos where she's being very
loud. I noticed it. Yeah, it was something that also clicked. Like, that's weird. Where is he?
Yeah, exactly. But then later, it's later that she talks about killing him. or about
Right.
shooting, putting 3 in his stomach, which would make sense if she's talking about JLB, that the dad could already be dead, because I hadn't put that together, or I hadn't thought of that. But makes less sense if she's talking about that already and has already killed him, unless she's just disassociating and
that she's not. She's talking about her dad because she says when he gets up to go to his first job, she doesn't know what JLB does. You know what I mean?
She doesn't know that his job is drinking milk.
But she says first job, and when so that denotes that she knows her general time. He gets up to go to his first job. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
But you're right. That comes at later, and these videos are time stamped and titled.
Yeah.
So it is peculiar.
Yeah. So then she records herself in a graveyard saying it's her school.
That's the principal's office. Watch out.
Watch out.
That was creepy. That was creepy fun. That was, that just felt like a goth kid thing to do.
Yeah.
More than delusional.
No,
it was a little.
I really thought we were going to get to the point where she was like listening to Joy Division and like had the mascara.
Has a picnic on one of the graves.
Yeah. Yes. Starts wearing like Victorian dresses, but all black.
Just wandering around at dusk.
Yeah, pretending
She
to
has to be
hitchhike and be
home
like,
by 8.
I died a year ago today.
Cars weren't invented.
I'm spooky.
Why do I talk?
So yeah, she then she does the New Year's Eve ball drop video. But so by all accounts, the filmmaker, Jane Schoenbrunn, found a New England town. I think she said it was in Connecticut, and was just timed out the shot over and over again on December 31st, and then had one chance to shoot it and get to the ball drop right on time.
Well done.
That's indie filmmaking. This is where she talks about using her father's gun to kill him and herself, and then saying one day she'll disappear and nobody will ever figure out what happened to her. Then her next video is the one where she covers herself in toothpaste and does the glowy dance thing where she tears up her sloth.
Yeah. You could tell that was coming, but it still was sad.
Yeah, that made me very sad. That made me sadder than almost any other part of the movie.
Same. And her regret. I know that regret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you were a kid, you broke something.
You're just
instantly like, no.
Why did I do this?
I love you.
She says she's had us since she was 5 days old.
5 days old. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oldest friend.
I broke a Barack Obama bottle opener 3 days ago and had the same emotional journey.
That's weird. I was like, Snake Eyes, you're too beautiful for this world.
Cobra Commander is gonna kill you now.
He commands no more.
So then she has another conversation with JLB. They talk about strange loop theory and her sense that the world has always been false. Strange loop theory is it's an offshoot of the string cheese incident, I think.
So strange loops, it's a Douglas Hofstadter thing. It's a math thing about consciousness. I don't know what they're getting at with strange loop theory, but what's it called? Oh God, which one of Bach's fugues starts in C and ascends all the way back up to C? Strange loops. It's this idea that like consciousness comes from self-awareness, and consciousness comes from us looping back on ourselves, millions of times over and over and over again.
Sure.
I don't know what the fuck they were getting at with strange loops in this. Like, do you believe in the strange loops theory? Like, what?
Yeah,
What?
It seems like it was co-opted into the game to mean something more specific to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Bach's Canon 5 from
Yes.
Musical Offering, Canon 5A2.
And it just repeats
MC
itself?
Escher is a visual.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
see.
Presentation of
hands drawing themselves.
Yeah.
Al, if you've never read any Douglas Hofstadter, I'll give you my copy of Gödel, Escher, Bach. It's very interesting. It's a desert island book.
So at this point, he asks if they can go out of game so he can ask her a serious question. This is the first time he calls it an MMORPG, and she seems almost confused by it. Like, oh, out of game? Like what? That's
Right.
the game?
Yes. He's having a very intense realization.
Well, I think that she, just from my interpretation of this, I think she's upset. But like, what?
She's been duped a little.
Like, well, no, like we're playing a game. What are you doing?
Right. Why are you breaking
It's
the
like we're
ball?
playing soccer. Why did you pick the ball up? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't pick the ball up. We're playing soccer, dude.
Right.
That was how I interpreted it initially. And then later on, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't misinterpret that, because a lot of this movie is misinterpreting everything because nothing is clear.
Right. So at this point, he says he's legitimately worried about her. He's considered calling the police for a wellness check. She gets mad and says that, of course, it's just a game. She knows they're not real. Casey isn't even her real name, and she's cutting off contact and calls him a pedophile and then ends the call. So, like Brian was saying, there's a few interpretations here. She's mad that he's stopping the game, or she didn't know it was a game and he was kind of right to be worried. But either way, this is the last we see of Casey.
This is it.
Yeah. We don't know what happens to Casey. So
No, just whatever he tells us, but he doesn't give details about what she's been up to.
And also, I'm not certain he's
I don't believe anything he
reliable.
says.
It like that.
No.
I think he's making that shit up.
Well, I think
I
that's
believe.
continuing the game is the point at the end.
Or
there.
maybe
'Cause
he killed her.
Well, I think that his control over the game is controlling other people's way of playing the game, and controlling the narrative allows him to then be useful to somebody else playing the game or whatever.
Or also like he's disturbed by how it ended with Casey and is trying to convince himself it had a happy ending by making up this story.
Well, and I don't think that he's convincing himself. I think that it's largely about convincing other people. He wants to keep the game going. I really do think that that is his ultimate goal. I think that he's more invested in it than she was.
Did we skip over the tarot card reading?
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I left the tarot card reading video out. There were a
Which
couple
was-
videos I left out.
Yeah, that was. I felt very pointed at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It was his reading. I'm pretty sure.
JLB.
Yeah.
She calls him a lonely person, a lot of anxiety, mental issues, trying to deceive people.
Lots of
Pushing an
pentacles.
agenda.
And says,
Pushing an agenda.
how are you to tell me how it is? Because he has been like saying, this is what you should be feeling, kind of thing, throughout. Like this is what's going on in the World's Fair, and it's not exactly her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, when she brings up the strange loop theory, and then he brings up all those other things about Radam and what have you, Karam, sorry, and
Kalima.
and that just wasn't her interpretation. That's part of. I feel like that's part of why she gets mad.
Yeah.
He's continuing to tell her that this is not what you're feeling isn't right, or something.
Yeah. I'm still on the fence. I don't know if it was a game to her or not. Like I legitimately can't decide what I think.
Same.
I think my interpretation of it was she was enjoying it. She was having fun being weird, mass hysteria, whatever kind of bullshit she's buying into. But him pulling her out of the game, she was like, she loses all agency from that moment on, basically. Because I think she was playing with him as much as he was playing with her. You know what I mean? As far as the game goes, she was making videos for him as an audience, and he was making videos with her primarily as an audience.
But I agree. I don't feel like it was ever clear if she believed it or not.
Which I mean,
which I'm sure was intentional, but
yeah, 100% intentional.
But
I watched.
It was a question.
Yeah, I watched a couple interviews with the filmmaker. She stated explicitly it was intentional, that it was left up in the air.
Yeah, there are no accidents.
But to the medium, all we're seeing are these videos. So we're getting a really unreliable narrator because they are just her videos. Not only, but majority of what we see is her presenting herself to the rest of this community online.
Yeah. It was interesting, the viewer counts on the different videos. Some had 3, some had up to like 54 views. Like, yeah, that was interesting.
The video of the death of Poe is particularly disturbing either way you go with it, because either she did that in a trance and didn't know what she was doing and then felt genuine regret at the death of her lemur, or she completely staged it. You know, she was just playing a game. She knew exactly what she was doing the whole time and destroyed her childhood friend.
And maybe it wasn't her childhood friend.
Exactly. Maybe it was a lemur she's had 6 months that she got from a fair. Like,
she got at the zoo, yeah.
And she said that as part of the game.
Fair.
Trying to sell me some old ass lemur.
This is I think the point of this movie. Not to like, and here we get to the nougat of like the reason why they made it was just to like, it's so hard to know what's on the other side of the fucking screen and what somebody's intentions are and how easily it is for actors to interact and engage and cause chaos.
This is the point of any user-generated content you see on the internet. You don't know what's really happening. That influencer who's in Haiti, or not Haiti, Haiti's a terrible place to have vacation. That influencer that's in Bermuda.
Bermuda?
I don't know. Bahama? Come on, pretty mama.
You have the world view of like an 80-year-old man.
I know.
Bermuda and
who's in Myrtle Beach. Like,
yeah. Are you fucking Hemingway?
Remember the white folks flock?
They're not really in Ibiza. They're in a warehouse in the middle of Detroit. Yeah. But yeah, no, you don't know. No one knows. No one knows what's happening on the other side of that iPhone.
Which can be scary. There are some scary things that could be happening in this movie. This guy could be grooming this young girl who is in high school. Mm-hmm. She could be planning to murder her father.
She could have murdered her father.
She could have murdered her father.
Or she could have invented murder.
Or he has more than one job and he wasn't home. You know, he's working a shift overnight.
Yeah. Or exactly. He might be working the overnight shift at this point.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Reddit.
Jobs.
Reddit trying to find the Boston bomber and just like looking at photographs of the marathon audience and then the aftermath and just like scouring social media and thinking we're on to something. Meanwhile, the FBI is like, oh my God, we have like cell phone technology. We've got license plate readers. We have all of this shit giving us evidence.
That was the first moment where I was like, oh, Reddit isn't only silly, it's dangerous and it's bad.
Actively harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the final scene is JLB talking about being contacted by Casey a year after their last time talking. She apologized, said she spent time in an assisted care facility. They exchanged real names, met up in New York, where she was now participating in a theater program. Casey said that the night she cut contact, she said that she was transported to the World's Fair, but something pulled her back. He said he spent all night at the computer praying for her. He said they hugged and parted ways. Roll credits. Yeah, that story, I do not buy any of that story. Whatever Casey's deal was, I don't buy a moment of that.
No.
They met up in Manhattan. She was going to theater school.
Mm-hmm.
We had coffee. We went different ways. We hugged. Yeah.
She seemed very introverted, to say the least. So it's interesting she went into theater, but it's also suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe it at all. Like it is very much like and then she was married and had 2 children and lived in a beautiful home with her dog and her husband.
Exactly.
And 2 children.
Maybe she's always been an actor. Maybe that's what all that was. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's interesting. We don't see her talk about or interact with anyone in real life.
Maybe she's dead like Bruce Willis.
Maybe she died a year ago this very day.
This very day. And her dad's just yelling at the ghost who lives up in the attic. It's 3:00 in the fucking. That's how I would be around a ghost.
Yeah, 100%. Be like, I have to work. Shut up.
Yeah. Done with this haunting shit.
Make noise when I'm at work, not while I'm here at home.
Just find something better to do.
Fucking freeloading
the house
ghosts
half the time.
You don't pay rent. You don't do chores. You're worse than the dog.
Unfinished business on Earth. Yeah.
Unfinished business. I have some unfinished business.
Yeah. I didn't pay that year's taxes right before I died.
Unfinished business. I have to.
I had a really big client. Like, pass the other side. I don't need your fucking bio.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's the movie. We rolled credits. It was fun. It was interesting.
I'm glad he chose it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. Very different. It's not one I would have probably ever thought of on my own. But it was a good watch.
It was a glimpse into how Gen Z sees the world.
Yeah,
I think in a way that
what's creepy to them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's why it. Sorry.
Like, I live online. I don't buy into any of that shit, though.
Jude grew up with like creepy pasta stuff the same way that I grew up with like Friday the 13th and Freddy.
13th is exactly. I always find it interesting what they find funny and what they find creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It fascinates me, so I'm glad, that we saw this movie.
Well, it was interesting being creeped out by parts of it too. I was surprised at multiple moments, like, oh fuck, I have goosebumps. All right, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I legitimately thought there was going to be something actual supernatural in it, but no, it's a psychological horror film.
I anticipated psychological horror, and we didn't get any of that, which is fascinating too. I was expecting horror.
Right. It was more suspense and.
I read a review of it, and they were like, "This is more of a coming of age than a horror movie." Like, it didn't end with our protagonist, which is the movie's greatest weakness and confusing choice. But it is a coming of age movie. She changes a shit ton.
Yes.
From that first time, like, "Hi guys, it's me," to the end, like, "Don't fucking talk to me anymore. Fuck you. I'm out."
Mm-hmm.
Bam. She's got like agency and confidence.
That's true. She found agency,
and
whether
a
it's
ghost.
Good or bad agency. She found it.
The fact that we didn't see any of her videos after that, after the conversation, until the end of the movie, still ambiguous. Like, did she just decide to quit this game and stop making videos? Did she grow out of this? Did she go insane and end up in the assisted living facility?
Yeah.
That's right. Did we mention that she checked herself into
That's
a
what
care
his
facility?
Story is. I don't.
That's what he says.
I don't believe him.
So she stopped making videos, checked herself into an assisted living like care facility, and then went to college in Manhattan for theater.
Yeah, I don't believe
he's really laying it on very thick. So it's a happy ending.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't believe his story at all. Whatever happened to her, I don't think he knows. Whether it's a happy ending or a tragic ending, he doesn't know what it is.
Which just is so anticlimactic.
I mean, I think that's I think that's part of the point.
Part of the point
is that sometimes things just stop. Sometimes stuff you're watching, people just stop posting, and you don't know.
The way this movie ended, that was literally, I was just like, I guess that's it. They're just not coming back.
Yeah.
It felt like your favorite internet content creator disappearing from the internet forever.
Yeah.
And then the rumors that linger beyond. There was a guy, FPS Russia, who got arrested for weapons possession, I'm sure. But he used to make videos with all of his guns in like Missouri. But he did it with a Russian accent so that the authorities would think he was in Russia.
They're like, we can trace where your computers are coming from, right, buddy?
Like he drove a tank through like a McDonald's drive-through in America, and then he disappeared.
He's like, my laptop's under the desk, so you can't see me.
Yeah.
I blurred my face. You don't know who I am.
You don't know who I am.
It was
only Cox Cable knows.
It was Lisa S. No, that's too obvious. It was an L. Simpson.
Yeah, Mitzi.
Yeah. So that I think that's about it. Do we have any final thoughts on it or unanswered questions?
No.
Did she have Cheeto dust all over her face at one point in this movie? I swear to God, there was a scene. I forgot to bring it up. I looked up.
It was not name brand Cheeto leg product.
And she just had Cheeto dust, and her fingers were Cheeto dusty. And like Katie wasn't watching the movie with me; she was playing video games. But she would like look up occasionally, and I just was like, "Is this lady covered in Cheeto dust?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's all over her hands too." And I hadn't noticed the hands.
I mean, at some point,
this movie is incredible.
It had a black light, so I'm not sure.
Who among us hasn't been covered in Cheeto dust late at night watching a screen at some point?
Yeah, who of us?
Fair. I just don't normally make videos covered in Cheeto dust.
True. Usually, I'll wash off my hands first.
I don't know if I've made a video.
Yeah. So, I think it's time to Siskel and Ebert. We're gonna thumb the movie. And Josh, as always, you are first up. Where are you going with this bad boy?
I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure that I'll, go back to it, but I might. But it was a good movie, and I'm glad we checked it out. Different than the other three we did.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I like that all four of the movies were all very different from each other.
I agree.
This might be the most different they've been.
Yeah.
For me, I can't give it a thumbs up. I was so bored for most of this movie. I found myself, all of this weird thinking and trying to create meaning in it. I found myself doing that throughout the movie. And I don't know if that was intentional.
Fair enough.
So
you finding meaning, you weren't sure.
Well, no, digging for it, going like, what the fuck is the meaning of this? What is happening? I couldn't just watch it as a movie. I was like, there has to be something here for me to take from this movie to the podcast.
I mean, that's how I feel about the internet most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, for me, it's a thumbs down. I didn't dislike the movie. I didn't hate it. It was just challenging to watch and required more back-end work than a movie should.
Fair. Al, where are you going? First, you're going to unmute.
Sorry, I mute so much because I blow my nose so much. I'm really on the fence with this one. It's quality filmmaking. The director had a vision and achieved it. I think this movie was. I felt uncomfortable watching this movie, but I think that was the point.
Sure.
So. Mission accomplished, Jane.
If you meant to make Sorlock the Preparer cry.
Mission accomplished.
Ultimately, I'm going to go thumbs down.
Ooh, a rare Al down.
I kind of feel the same way as Brian. It was mostly boring. I had a hard time because I watched it twice. I watched it on Friday, and then I had a really hard time going back to it on Saturday. I put it off for a really long time.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, thumbs down.
Fair enough. Okay. I found it more interesting than enjoyable, but I think it definitely. I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be enjoyable in a traditional sense. It was supposed to inspire feelings of uncomfortableness. I liked it more. I liked it more than I thought I did while I was watching it. Like in retrospect, going back, and I've got to say, any movie that's 86 minutes is instantly better than movies that are 2.5 hours long.
That was the saving grace of this film.
But I know what you mean. Sometimes it's like I gotta see. Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah. I'm ultimately. It's not an over enthusiastic, but it's not an unenthusiastic thumbs up. I'm going to give it. I'm going up with it. I think it ultimately it accomplished what it set out to do, and I didn't hate it.
It's a thumb up, but it's a thumb up the butt.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as enjoyable, I see.
Which some people are into, but you don't necessarily want to do without asking.
This very same generation.
Yes.
They have discovered the butt, and they're just...
Yeah, Gen Z is the first generation to discover the butt.
Yeah, enthusiastically, as you said.
Okay, that's it. Split decision on we're all going to the World's Fair. That is about it, which means we are at the end of Haunted Phosphorescence. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we're returning to our Alien series, and we'll be doing Prometheus.
Cool.
Jeremy's coming back for this. He wants to be here.
Nice. So we'll have Jeremy back in. We'll be doing Prometheus. That is next time on Harmless.
We'll be hugging faces.
Yes, on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then,
lots of worms.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. This has been your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I'm not going to the World's Fair. I'm going to the Wig Sphere.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, Josh.
That's all I had.
Well, right. Are you buying a wig or not?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're here. That's all I got. So move on. I can't. Jesus.
I broke Josh. God damn it.
Bye, Josh. I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to go turn into a vampire or an evil clown or something. Maybe put toothpaste on my face. I don't know.
Close your eyes. Shh. You can go back to bed. Shh. Close your eyes.
Stop.
You can go back. I'm Alaric Weber.
Stop that right now.
I'm going to make that my alarm clock, Al.
I like the approach of go to sleep. Screaming at you.
What's wrong? Oh, the Sideshow Bob thing. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.